There wasn't actually any models that I looked up to because I grew up in the 90s and 2000s, and most of the models at that time were very skinny and slim and not many of color as well. And I really started to realize there's an impact on modeling. Hi, my name is Kimberly Tanious and I'm a model.
I think for now we can take the portrait shot.
Okay.
And after that, because I like portraits more.
When I started modeling, I really did this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That's what I thought it was going to be. I never really thought of myself as like this big hotshot model person. I really thought of myself as just Kim, and that's always how I thought of myself. And now I recognize that there's beauty in who I am, what I look like, and what I represent. And I think that's what makes me unique. That's what makes me beautiful in a lot of ways. As for my physical appearance, honestly, I just had to get really comfortable and to really understand and say, you know what, these beauty standards are just not it for me, but I know that I am beautiful. How modeling caught my attention after I started was because I was actually researching influencers in Toronto because I was very just curious about the whole influencer world because it just started. And I noticed that Toronto doesn't really have any, but it has a lot to do with fashion. And since it had a lot to do with fashion, I looked into fashion industry, and that's when I found Fashion Art Toronto. And as I started following them on Instagram, I also started following some designers, and one designer actually reached out to me asking if I could model for her. And so I did. I took the opportunity, and after that, I realized there was a whole different aspect and layers to modeling than I thought there was before. And that's how it caught my interest.
Okay, and I want to change the lens to take more medium shots of you.
So my dad's Egyptian and my mom is Filipino. They're very different cultures, but both of them have similarities in terms of the values and beliefs and even some of the foods they eat, which is very surprising. Growing up with an immigrant parents, it was actually very diverse, and I think it's something that I'm very grateful for because I learned so much, but I've also was very sheltered. And out of a couple things that, you know, typically normally kids experience, and my parents wanted to just give me the best life possible. So when I was growing up, there wasn't actually any models that I looked up to because I grew up in the 90s and 2000s, and most of the models at that time were very skinny and slim and not many of color as well. So I'm growing up and I went into the industry looking for different models that reminded me of me. I found Vanessa Camille, I found Precious Lee, I found Ashley Graham, and those are models that I look up to now and that I aspire to be like in a way. Breaking the stigma of a typical model was something that I was very good at. I broke the stigma by being the first person with epilepsy to walk the longest running fashion show in North America, which happens to be Fashion Art Toronto. there is no one that did it before me. And that to me was breaking stigma. It really was. And then as well as being the first plus size Filipina, and then the first plus size Egyptian woman. There was so much that I bring to the table that we never really knew was me breaking the stigma. I have felt pressure to fit in the standards of beauty. As a plus size woman, I do know that I have to fulfill certain requirements, and I know that I cannot change my height. There's always going to be that, but I know that I can change my body. And I thought, what if I was skinnier? What if I did change parts and aspects of me? Would I fit in? And I think in thinking that, I'm now being brainwashed in some sort of way to conform to beauty standards that I don't need to conform to. And I think being someone that breaks barriers and stigmas is something so beautiful and something so rare. And I thought, why change that? Why stop now? My epilepsy in the modeling community and the fashion industry, they've been nothing but supportive. In my personal life though, yes, I have. They automatically assume that if you have epilepsy, your disability defines you. And my disability does not define who I am. If anything, it made me someone that I didn't think I could be. It made me someone, an inspiration, breaking barriers, all that kind of stuff. It's someone that I never thought I could be, never thought I could do. And if anything, it made me stronger, it made me wiser, it made me more in tune with my body and who I am as a person. My first experience at Fashion Art Toronto was very chaotic almost, but in like the best way possible. I was learning a lot at the time, so that's what made it chaotic. I had to learn where I was going, and then when to go to hair, then when to go to makeup, and then tell them who I was walking for, and then they would decide from there what's going on with makeup and hair. Through the waiting, I actually met a lot of people, and they helped me with my walk, they helped me with my posing. Through their experience, they were teaching me, and I'm so grateful for that. And that was my first time at Fashion Art Toronto.
Lita, do you have my phone? Lita, do you have my phone?
Camera rolling.
All right.
Audio speeding.
Audio speeding. Okay, let me get that. Okay. Hi, my name is Lita Alexandrovich. I'm the creative director of Alexander. I've been into fashion for like a really long time, but over the past 5 years, I've been learning how to sew and teaching myself more about the fashion industry, like taking some private lessons, attending school. I consider myself like a very creative person, and I really like to experiment with certain things. So my love for clothing and creating and things like that kind of led into fashion design. So that's what brought me here.
So Lita is debuting this year, and I'm so thankful that she picked me to walk for her.
I actually asked her last season, which was in April, the last Fashion at Toronto that was being held. I came in with one of my looks that I made at George Brown. I have the drawing, I can show later. And I saw her and I was like, oh yeah, I'm planning to do my collection. And she was like, I would definitely love to walk for you. And I was like, yeah, I got one model already.
Meeting her was actually very interesting because we met backstage at Fashion Art Toronto before. We never really had any sort of in-depth conversation, but she is known of my work. She has watched my work through Instagram, and I've watched hers through Instagram. So for her to just be like, yeah, I like her style of walking, I like who she is such an honor, really, because a debut is a big deal, and so I'm just very thankful. And that's how we met. And then we got to know each other a little bit more over the months of her creating this new collection. So before any runway show, I take a couple of deep breaths, even though I feel like I can never do this. And a quick little prayer to God, you know, just a quick cross, and I'm out the runway. That's it.
And we just kind of clicked. She's a really fun person. She's very bright, so I got to be friends with her from there. The pressure did start kicking in over the week before. I was still working on my collection. I mean, like, pretty much everyone was still working on their stuff. I asked around. All the designers were like, oh yeah, like I'm still finishing things up. It was all happening at once. I kind of forgot that time was a thing when I was working on it up to then. Everything you see back here I did within the last week, right before the show. So it just kind of happened. I don't know how it happened, but it just happened. Like, I just got everything done by then.
I have no worries, actually. I know that she can get it done. I've seen her work before, and I lay it in her hands, and my job only as a model is to execute it the way she envisions it. It's not about me and my beauty or whatever you want to call it. It's about her vision and her collection.
It felt very surreal because I wasn't expecting so many people to be like in awe or like excited about seeing me, the designer, coming out, but everyone was just like really excited, and they were like clapping, and all these cameras were in my face, and I was like, what is going on?
When we talk about modeling, we talk about beauty standards all the time, and honestly, models come in all shapes, different sizes. It's something that you need to understand, where it's not about your beauty all the time. It's about what you want to represent. I always told myself, Kim, if you want to go into this, why are you going into this? And I told myself, it's to make a change.
I think over the last decade have definitely been getting better. We have been able to properly like bring in more people from different cultures, backgrounds, sizes. This is what people look like. It's not just like some tall, skinny white person who looks pretty.
So modeling has changed my life significantly. It's like living in a multiverse almost. I went from a very simple life, a very calm, collected life, to now living a different type of normal, you can say, where I meet people that are such inspirations. I meet people that I can learn from and grow from, and all of it is just very new to me, and very new in the sense where I'm like, I would have never had this life if I just kept doing what I did before and never took the chance of just one show and kept going from there in terms of what I'm passionate about and what I represent. I'm so grateful for that. And so it's changed my life significantly.
Yeah, we can cut.
Oh shit, my bad, Fab. My bad, I forgot this was here.